So let me just quickly introduce myself. Hi, I'm Shrikala. I'm one of the co-founders of Crackverbal. I've been in this industry for over a decade now. Prior to my entrepreneurship journey, I work for HP. I have been also part of the ISB Goldman Sachs Women Entrepreneur Program. I've also been part of the Cherry Blair Foundation, where we help women entrepreneurs across the world, with their entrepreneurial journey, right? That's a little bit about me. Anuj, if you could just introduce yourself, that would be awesome.
I am a Ross MBA from 2015, and I also have 12 years of experience spanning across the marketing ecosystem. So I've worked on the client side in FMCG, I worked in creative agencies, digital agencies, worked in marketing consulting, and now I'm on the publisher side at Google, working as a product consultant in sales for the retail industry in Australia as well. And I I'm now based out of Hyderabad, but have worked across four continents: North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. So I will looking forward to seeing questions across industries and geographies as well.
What I want to get started with, the first thing is the myth around marketing roles, right? Anuj, you went to a very competitive school. I know we have had people getting into Ross, so many students over the years. And every year that I know that all the candidates that get through are extremely competitive, very great profiles, looking at consulting, looking at marketing, looking at product management roles. Uh, when you applied, right, when you started your entire MBA journey, again applying to a US school, and you already had a marketing background before you got started, right? What were the myths that you had around marketing role? And what did you think? What were your assumptions when you were applying? Because most of us over here, most of the audience over here are at a similar stage, right? They have their own thought process around marketing, and they are also thinking about a lot of things. So, more from your perspective, your experience, what do you think are the typical myths that people have around marketing roles?
So takes me back about almost 10 years now. I had about 3.5 years of experience in brand management at Unilever, so I thought I'd be a catch for any marketing recruiter at Ross, and I'd heard so much about Ross's reputation of being a CPG focused school. So it is one of the top schools where CPG recruiters come and hire. And that is true as well. But for my MBA, post MBA goal, I was looking at consulting and wanted to use my skills in brand management to and leverage them in consulting. And Marketing was really my option B or plan B, as I was thinking, because I thought, consulting is difficult, but marketing would be super easy to get. And that was one of the biggest myths that got busted really quickly in my mind, because I hadn't done a lot of research from the marketing perspective when I got in. I'd spoken to a couple of people, and the reason being that I'd really struggled meeting a lot of people with marketing backgrounds who'd done American MBAs as well. I'd looked up on LinkedIn, and nobody in my network seemed to have done something like that. But I found a few Ross ambassadors looking at marketing, and they said it was super easy to get marketing roles at Ross with my background. So I just went in super confident. But once I reached the B school, I figured the thing that popped my balloon was very few CPG recruiters actually hire international students in the US. The number in my school was just one. So I got to interview with three because I had conversations with them, but in the end, only one actually gave out offers to international students at Ross. And there's multiple reasons to why they don't want international students for for traditional marketing roles.
Hmm.
But going in to marketing, if I take a step back into before I joined marketing from college, the myths. It's ironic that marketing as a profession has an image issue. There are two image issues. One, for people who don't like marketing, are that it's all fluff and it's basically just putting lipstick on a pig. You're just fluffing up something that doesn't need to be sold, and you're just forcing things down the throat. Where and you're not really making an impact on the business. That myth's slightly been propagated by the tech industry as well, where they've really taken apart the core part of marketing, which is product management, into a different discipline altogether. And now the finance industry has also followed suit. But typically, if you look at the four P's of marketing, product is one of the core pillars of marketing. And advertising and PR are a small part of promotion, which is which so and the other ones are not. The other myth is I'm too left brain to be in marketing, and we all going by the background. I might be preaching to the choir, but it's marketing. The other P's of marketing can get as left brained as possible with the amount of data available in for marketers now. You have to be on Excel all the time. You're doing most of your work in PowerPoint, but Excel is where you spend a lot of time, and all those new tools as well now. And the other side, the other myth that what really attracted me to marketing back then was the glitz and glamour of the marketing side of things, where I thought I'd be going to shoots and writing strategies in my office and all that, and that'd be my whole role. It's a strategy. While we do all of that, I mean, I've had Salman Khan as a brand ambassador. I've been to shoots. I've been to all these events, press events, and all of that. All the glitz and glamour is there, but that's hardly 5 to 10% of your role, as most people in this call would agree to as well. A good strategy is just about 25% of the way there. You do have to work on execution, and that's where the meat of the role is, and that's what is actually the exciting part of the role as well.
Typically, what are the kind of skills that you require for marketing roles? When you say, it is a number crunching role, or it is more strategic, it also requires you to be creative at times, even if it's 5 to 10 times. What do you think are the typical skills that are required for, in general, marketing roles? Not focusing too much on the individual, but more on the kind of jobs or roles available internationally, because you mentioned you worked across geographies in North America and Europe and in Asia too, right? So, and you've hired in all these leadership roles, you've also hired people for marketing roles. So, what do you think are the typical skills required for these marketing roles? And especially the people who are listening to us, they are coming with various different marketing backgrounds, right? So, what are the things they should maybe focusing on highlighting when they are pitching themselves as someone who wants to go into marketing as a future?
If we were to going back to a preschool concept of point of differentiation and point of similarity. So, point of differentiation for an international student compared to a domestic one is just the kind of exposure they've had to other cultures, and the fact that other cultures exist. Most domestic students take things for granted, that if this is how things operate in my country, this is how things operate across the world as well. And that's an advantage that we have. We bring in a fresh perspective to the world, to looking at the problem and having coming from a different economic situation as well as a different cultural background, we're able to figure out the different variables that may be different when we're doing global or cross continental marketing. So, as international folks, we really thrive in regional or in global roles. And that's the perspective that really helps, where our curiosity to understand the culture is what you're looking for. So when I hire for folks in my team, I am looking. I understand that some of the things that I'll be so back at Unilever, I was hiring for my digital transformation team, and there are very few companies in India right now which are actually doing as advanced digital marketing as, say, a Unilever would do. And so expecting them to know everything on the job is difficult. But what I'd expect them to know is having that attitude and having a curiosity to be able to figure things out, and a learning mindset as well, because things are changing rapidly, and as we're seeing digital change, like every 2 years, it's a new ecosystem altogether in digital. So, what I'd expect a new hire to be is to have a good learning mindset, and ask the right questions, and think and be passionate about things as well. In marketing, you're, as a client side marketer, you're obsessed with your product all the time. Like, I was on detergents, I was on Surf Excel, and I thought everybody thought about detergents 24 hours. And because that's your whole life, you're thinking about detergents in your sleep, in your shower, and whatnot. Even when I was working on toilet cleaning, you had to be really passionate about it to be good at it. So you want to check if they're really interested in the role and in the category and in marketing in general. You just look at, like, most people will skip ads on YouTube. I actually go to YouTube to watch ads, because that's a way for me to know what's happening in the marketing world. I'll actually want to understand what they're trying to say and analyze what they're coming from, what the message could be, what could have been the brief that the client gave to the agency to create this ad. It's that kind of a thing that really makes things tick in a marketing role, because you have to love it to be able to do it well.
Right. What are the typical, or is there a difference in the kind of opportunities people get across geographies also? Like you mentioned that in US, maybe for an international candidate, getting into something around brand marketing might be tough. How is it different across geographies, more based on your experience?
In the US, while CPG or traditional firms might not hire for marketing roles, tech tends to like international folks, because tech marketing is not as localized. It tends to have global marketing, and the advantage that we bring to tech is that most of our candidates tend to have an engineering background, so they understand the product as well. And we come from India, which tends to be the biggest market for a lot of tech products as well. So we bring in that user understanding, a passion for tech, and really a globalized point of view as well, that really helps in tech marketing. And these are opportunities that are available in North America. In Europe, the scenario is slightly different. While they are considering the wide variety of cultures and markets, and the size of the markets being really small, a lot of the marketing is done centrally, say in London or in Switzerland, and that means that they need somebody who can do cross-cultural marketing, and that's where Europe does bring in a lot more, of opportunities where you can do marketing, but the challenge there is that the language might not be as favorable for you. And some of these roles tend to be senior as well, so they expect you to have done some bit of domestic marketing because before they put you into a more senior regional role.
More from an international candidate, who was looking at a global role. How do you think that impacts, when brands are looking at India as a market? Do you think they would prefer international candidates or Indian candidates more for these kind of roles, or does that even matter?
India has such a wide pool of management professionals available at a much lower price compared to what you'd get in the US or in Europe. That folks looking to hire Indians tend not to look for them in the US. You'd rarely see, so there used to be a couple of companies which may have wanted Indians for India in at Ross back then, but those numbers are reducing as companies realize that hiring from the IIMs or from ISBs is much better. You get a much wider pool and a much more competitive set of people as well. So coming back to India, going abroad for the purpose of coming back might not be the best idea from that lens.
When it comes to marketing specific roles and specifically leadership roles, how much of is it possible for someone with a non-marketing background to get into leadership roles in marketing?
So it is possible, and most of my friends who got a marketing role after an MBA didn't have one prior to the MBA. And how you get the attention of recruiters is by having a passion. So passion for marketing and advertising. So if you're going to a supermarket, are you really looking at the shelf and seeing what might be the strategy of one product, from a pricing lens or from a placement lens? Say, if you go to imagine yourself uh, uh, as a brand manager for, say, Wow shampoo. If you wanted to put yourself in their shoes, would you place your product in, say, a DMart, or say a food hall, or one of those more premium outlets, say a Ratnadeep here in Hyderabad? Or and from a pricing lens, would you want to compare yourself with, say, a Pantene or a Dove, or would you be looking at a Kerastase or something of that sort? So really, are you just looking at products from from a consumer lens, or are you putting in your marketer hat and doing it? If you have shown interest, if you are interested in marketing, have you tried marketing projects? Say, have you worked with an NGO and tried to create a marketing plan for them, or have you worked in one of the clubs on campus? Say, I used to be a part of the Ross Indian Students Association and used to be the marketing VP there, and used to market our events like the Diwali party or things for recruiting for Indian students. And we'd be doing a lot of marketing projects. I'd even do Facebook campaigns out of the small time budget that I had for the association. So how interested and passionate are you for marketing and for the product that you're hiring for is what matters and what catches attention.
So someone who's applying for an MBA is not from a marketing background. Do you think it makes sense, or is it even a good idea to push themselves about their interest in marketing to the admission committee, saying that, okay, this is the kind of career I want to get into, but they don't really have a marketing background, like their predominant job does not involve them to be in marketing. They might have done some projects or some gigs on the side where they have showcased their interest, but their predominant job role did not involve them to do any kind of marketing. So more from an MBA mentor perspective, do you think it might be a good idea for them to pitch themselves as a marketing
Absolutely.
admission program?
Absolutely. Say Aditya is talking about having a sales background and not having done marketing, but having, say, you worked with the marketing team as a salesperson. You would have directly worked with marketing teams, and you would have pitched in suggestions. Might have done. You would have taken a mentor from marketing to understand what it is, and showing that you have tried these things, you loved it, and you uh, you want to do more, and the step towards doing it would be an MBA. The MBA would really add value to your journey. Is what would help make the narrative stronger. But we need to show a lot of steps that you've taken before to show that you're really interested in it. That's where the passion comes through. And things could be, as I was saying, you could have worked for an NGO, or maybe hosted events and within the company itself. So there are lots of internal communication opportunities for events, and internal marketing that we do inside our companies, like with huge companies that we have, say a Swiggy or a Byju's or FMCG companies. You'd see huge, like with 5,000 people in the office, you'd want to be marketing internally. And those are great opportunities to do that. So having tried that and gotten a taste and saying now I want to step it up with an MBA is a good narrative to have for sure.
How is AI changing the landscape for the skills required for marketing, right? Like, for example, and I'll tell you specifically, even my own experience at Crackverbal, right? I realized that, when you're looking at, say, even performance marketing, there are so many AI tools that actually give me a lot of information about, how things are and what is the health of the website, and, what is the health of the content and stuff like that. And sometimes we feel that, do I really need a performance marketer, because I'm already getting information around this.
So for yeah, let's lovely that you brought up performance marketing, and I'm working on working on Performance Max. If you've heard of it, I'm the product consultant on Performance Max for retail, and it's a product which will fully automate performance marketing. So all you need to do at the beginning of the month is give it a budget, give it a ROAS or an ROI that you're looking for, and it will, and give it all the content. It will do the magic on its own. You don't need to touch the campaign for a full month. It will do
Wow.
the magic on its own. So it is going to make the lives of marketers super easy. I mean, 3 years ago, I remember being a performance marketer at Unilever, where you would check the campaign every 2 hours, see where it's going and what it's doing. It will free up a lot of time for a lot of folks to be doing the real stuff, the real thinking, and understanding the consumers, understanding the users, and it will actually bring you back to more closer to traditional marketing, as you're doing the real work that a marketer should be doing, rather than thinking about the tactical side of marketing, where we used to think of so many ways to crack the algorithm and how to make sure that your campaign is scaling. All of this is going to be with performance marketing is going to go away very soon, and that is how AI in general is changing the landscape for us as well. Where in general for marketing, where the simpler stuff is going to be taken care of easily, and we will get more time to do the more complex things and solve more complex problems and do things that AI can't do. AI can't observe human behavior and come out with insights. It will, and come out with customized insights for your brand and for your product. That's something that you will need to do. and that will make marketing much more exciting.
Next, I just wanted to list down all the kind of marketing roles post MBA. Anuj, you have any thoughts on any of these specific marketing roles, like, for example, the marketing leadership development program?
An MLDP program is a used to be a fantastic foundation, for especially in CPG companies where like at Unilever, it is an 18-month program where you spend 6 months in sales, 3 months in marketing. You go to the factory, you work in finance, you do an international stint. So they give you a taste of the company all at once in 18 months, and you have a cohort of people joining with you. So it feels like you're still in college and with the brightest minds. And they at Unilever, I remember the first three promotions were like for granted. In the first 10 years of your career path was defined, and then it was up to you to figure it out later. But as things move more faster in other industries, in modern industries, the career path isn't as defined. Things are changing so quickly that you can't really have a defined career path for the rest of your life, which makes it even more exciting and more customized for you as well. Depending on what you're looking for, an MLDP will give you more stability. It is the best learning ground. FMCG is where I learned most of my skills, so I definitely love the programs. But if you're looking for something more customized and so MLDPs are for people who want to stay in are in love with that company and want to stay there for 15, 20 years. While other programs will help you be more agile, figure things out on your own, and be in more dynamic industries as well.
Right. One other question I had is about product marketing manager. Right now, our product marketing manager, and this is a question that most people ask, every time, and I think you're the best person to answer this. Is product marketing very focused on tech, or product marketing can happen, maybe an FMCG kind of background also? Do they really have a product marketing role in an FMCG sector?
No, FMCG will have a brand manager who's more a business or a general manager kind of a person, and will be looking at product as well as placements, and is actually the center point of the company, or in a quarterback, as you'd call it in American football, where you're the person making decisions and telling supply chain or legal or sales to do their work, and directing people. So working with agencies, working with a lot of people, to make sure that the business is growing. You're in charge of the growth of the business. While a product marketing person might have a different set of metrics for them. In tech, they're more in charge of the softer metrics of the business. They might not be in charge of the whole business as such, like we have in traditional marketing roles.
And showing some examples of some Crackverbal alums, and I just picked these slides just to give you an idea of how a journey can be. And obviously this is not like a 2 year 3 year journey, it's been a long journey, but I wanted to specifically pick Rahul, Namrata's journey, who started as a software engineer, moved to working with, say, Rahul started worked with ITC and managed a business unit there, went on to do an MBA from Kellogg, and then went on to work with Reckitt as marketing manager, and now he's a CMO with another company, right? So that's
Reckitt's actually the company I was referring to, which hired from Ross for internationals. They have a culture of moving people around, so they actually move people across continents all the time. So if you're interested in that kind of a role, then Reckitt's the place to be.
Perfect. I also wanted to pick Namrata's journey, who started as a senior analyst. I remember she had an eye for communication. She was extremely good with her. In fact, when we worked with her, it was more for her quant skills than her verbal skills, because she was very good with her verbal on GMAT. She went on to do her MBA from Oxford, and now she also worked in India as a brand manager for Dettol, and now she's working, as a brand manager in Canada. So that's been her journey. I also wanted to pick an Indian school where Vikas started his journey as a software engineer, moved on to do an MBA from ISB, became an engagement manager, then moved his career to product marketing manager, and now he's the director of product marketing for a specific company. Karan, again, UNC Canon Flagger. Why I picked UNC is also it is 20 ranking school, so I didn't want to put all Oxfords and Kellogg's. Also wanted to show, and Ross's. I also wanted to show, there are schools like, the 2021 ranking school also, where UNC, where he again started as a software engineer with Oracle, moved on as a product manager, went on to into product marketing, right? So various journeys of different people, and I'm sure when people are looking at doing an MBA, that's what their mind, right? They are looking at the long term, and they are looking at what they would want to do, going ahead. So this is just to give you an idea about, how their journey has been. To help, let me also check there are some questions on the Q&A window. If international students are not preferred in marketing, would colleges not prefer to admit us if we tell them that marketing is our aspiration?
That's a fair question. Yes, it does. It actually does tell the college that you're not really haven't done your homework as much, because the colleges do expect, going by my experience as well, of having not spoken to a lot of international students looking to get into marketing. I hadn't done my research as much, and my application spoke more about consulting than about marketing as such. So maybe I wouldn't have got into Ross if I had spoken about my marketing aspirations. But it's always good to speak to folks and be aware of what kind of aspirations you have, and check whether those are practically possible or not, and what kind of, and then accordingly craft your story around it.
Right, right. So in fact, that's exactly what we do also at Crackverbal, right? When we are looking at help, or when you're looking at mentors to help you through the process, this is exactly what you want. We at Crackverbal believe that our mentors are career mentors, not application mentors. Their focus is not to edit your essays, but give you an direction on your career, right? So that's exactly what our focus has been, and that's what we would want to be part of when we are part of your journey, right? There's another question by Anjali, and she asks that which sectors or jobs are available in marketing for international students in specific? Anuj, you mentioned about tech, but other sectors, what are the other options available?
So it generally depends. We had auto coming in. So Ross has Detroit has a huge auto presence, and General Motors was open to hiring international students. We don't have as much of a tech presence beyond say an Amazon, Google, and Facebook, or Meta at Ross back then, 10 years ago. But say if you're going to the West Coast, you'd find a lot more tech which is open. If you go to the East Coast, you'll find a lot more finance companies being open, who might not do the trek to the campus to hire, but they might, if you approach them the other way, you might find them. And the other is, a lot of these companies do hire for general management programs, which are for more senior candidates, and have these leadership development programs where one of the roles will be marketing, but it may not, but you'd have to go through all the rotations to be able to get to marketing. So general management in more traditional industries is where Ross did have a few opportunities. And those are the top ones that come to mind.
Right. We have one more question here, and she asked that, for people, say for example, they've already done an MBA from India, and they are looking at doing another MBA abroad. With right kind of work experience, 5, 6 years of experience, maybe in digital marketing. Do B schools look at it differently when you're looking at doing an second MBA more from your background and experience in your class at Ross? Were there people who had maybe done a local, Indian MBA and then happened to do a second MBA globally?
Yes, absolutely. We had people from like an MDI or a Jamnalal or uh, actually quite a few, like even from IIFT. I remember folks from there who'd done second MBAs. It depends on the kind of narrative that you're bringing in, on what is the need, where in the career you're at, how will this MBA add value to it? Because it might be super specific to you on what you're looking to get out of the MBA that you didn't get from the first one.
Thank you so much, Anuj. This is really, really informative and very insightful. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much, everyone who have been part of this webinar. And thank you so much for putting in that effort to bring in more clarity to your profile, to your background, to your MBA journey. And it's exactly what we wanted to do as part of this session too.